In danger.
Question number 7, the Honourable David Cunliffe. Question number 7, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister for Economic Development. Is he satisfied that the policy initiatives...
I apologise to the member, the Honourable Member. I say to National Party members, it's not reasonable. I can't hear the question, and let that person who's, missed a call at some stage cast the first stone. We've all done that. The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. I want to hear this question, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to the Minister of Economic Development, is he satisfied that the policy initiatives undertaken by his department are adequately tackling the problem of unemployment, and if not, why not?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I think actually Mr. Cunliffe was doing a bit of last-minute lobbying for the weekend. Mr. Speaker, the government...
Order. I think ministers, when answering primary questions, should avoid that kind of unnecessary, gratuitous comment. The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
I was just trying to...
No, order.
Mr. Speaker. Yes, okay. Mr. Speaker, yes. The government is undertaking a comprehensive business growth agenda to help New Zealand businesses become more internationally competitive and have access to the 6 key ingredients they need to grow, create jobs and be successful. To this end, we're ensuring we're building better access to export markets, we're investing to encourage innovation, we're improving skills and safety within the workforce, we're building the infrastructure businesses need to thrive, and we're encouraging sustainable use of our natural resources, and we're building a stronger capital.
The Minister should have noticed the question asked if not, why not? Not if so, why? And no, the Minister had answered the question. No, order. The question, it's a primary question. It asked if the Minister is satisfied. The Minister indicated he was. Therefore, there's no further answer required because the question goes on to say, if not, why not? The Honourable David Cunliffe, supplementary question.
Speaker, to the Minister, which of the following does he consider to be the greater concern to the New Zealand economy? Inflation at 0.8% below the 1 to 3% target range, or unemployment at 7.3%, the highest in 13 years, in fact since the last time Bill English was Minister of Finance?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, actually I think the bigger challenge for the New Zealand economy is the lack of understanding from some people as the importance of giving businesses the opportunity to invest and grow their businesses in New Zealand and not adding costs to those businesses, and actually giving opportunities in areas such as oil and gas, such as convention centres. Absolutely, Mr. Peters, absolutely a range of things that we need to have to encourage businesses to grow. I think that's the biggest limitation, and it dominates the other side of the House.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, what does the Minister consider as the more significant reason for the decline in New Zealand manufacturing from 26% of GDP in the 1970s to 14% in 2009 to 12% in 2011? Could it be the high New Zealand dollar or policy settings which deliberately reinforce the interests of agriculture and finance at the expense of manufacturing, innovation and export-led growth?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think the member is simply wrong in his analysis of what is happening in the New Zealand economy. In actual fact, since this government has been in office, we've seen the long-term decline that he refers to in manufacturing halt, and actually we've seen growth in the amount of exports from manufacturing. It's true, members should go and read their numbers, exports from manufacturing and growth in manufacturing over time. And the simple fact of the matter is that the members, I have to say, adolescent picking of industries that should be promoted ahead of other industries is actually one of the causes of problems in New Zealand. We spend way too much time focusing on which single industry will save us. We actually need to encourage positive investment opportunities across the country, and that's what we're doing.
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, has the Minister seen any reports of any special meetings to discuss jobs?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, I have received a report of a special meeting last night to discuss one particular leadership job. Reports are it was a meeting of about a dozen people to discuss jobs, and it followed on from discussions from an expensive New York-based consultant and was convened by one David Cunliffe MP.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Cunliffe. Order. Order. Now, the national benches will show a little discipline, please. I want to hear the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, if the Minister's mathematical abilities are as off as that, I wonder where he is.
The member's going to have further interjections if he carries on like that.
Mr. Speaker, what policies are in place to help New Zealanders aged between 18 and 34 whose real incomes have decreased by 8% since this government has been in power, or who currently make up close to half of the unemployed and around 40% of those leaving for Australia? And if he really believes the manufacturing decline has been reversed, why doesn't he say that to the people of Southland, or the Minister of Finance, or any government MP who have stood up the debate on the future of the Tiwai smelter to be held in early December?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think there was about 6 legs to that question, but if I focus on the youth question, because it's a fair question to ask, and actually the government is very, very focused on creating opportunities for young people, and if I just beg the House's, it's doing a huge amount actually. We've created a thing called the Youth Guarantee Scheme, which supplies fees-free training for young people aged 16 and 17, and in fact now 7,500 places from nothing a couple of years ago. We've also created 2,800 fees-free places in 44 trades and service academies, Mr. Speaker, and next year we're rolling out 5,500 fees-free level 1 and 2 places for foundation learners of all ages. And the good news is, if you look at 15 to 19-year-olds, now fully 78% of all of them are in education, 12% of them are in employment, and 4% are unemployed and not in any form of education, with another 5% right outside the workforce. And those figures are actually a very significant improvement through the global financial crisis.
Question number 8, Denise Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.